impressive team work tonight with Thor Sport. They're going to have to battle with Red Horse Racing, who has a truck right now on the pole, as well as Turner Motorsports, who have a couple trucks in the top 10.
How about RCR?
Definitely strong as well. Take a look at our Just for Men Auto Stop track description of this 7/8 mile.
Yeah, a fairly new facility here, just built in the last 10 years or so, but the banking in the corners, 12 to 14 degrees, that really promotes side-by-side, maybe even three-wide racing.
You can see the race distance, 175 miles, 200 laps. It's the Royal Purple synthetic oil race description. 80 to 90 laps before they come to pit road, but they can mix it up, Phil. Tires, maybe two tires, maybe get tires at different points in time during the race.
I love the word you just said. They can mix it up.
That's exactly what they'll do, too, as soon as this green flag flies, Rick.
It's about to happen. The field coming out of turn number 4, 2 by 2, led by Parker Kligerman and Ryan Blaney. Parker Kligerman's first ever pole. Green flag in the air. We're underway in Iowa.
Watch the inside now. Truck's already making it 3 wide.
Nelson Piquet Jr. in the 30 all over the back bumper of Parker Kligerman. Gave him a shove into turn number 1, and now he has a 2-truck length lead as they go down the backstretch.
Okay, that 7 truck has been strong from the time they unloaded it yesterday.
Side by side for second. And now back into the field, side by side for position there as well. James Buscher's dropped back.
There's some great stories in this race tonight, guys. You saw David Mayhew scraping the bottom of the racetrack. He's in that 19 truck. Watch for him to be strong. He's really tough on short tracks. Also, Cale Gale. He had a great practice. He hasn't put together a whole race yet this year that I think he could win. I believe tonight he can be a contender.
We're right along with Timothy Peters right here. Here's our point leader following the 32 of Miguel Paludo.
Man, but you talked about the guys in the garage area all had their eyes on that 7 truck. The guys in the garage area are pretty smart, aren't they?
Yes,
Parker
they
Kligerman has driven off to an early lead, and it's a significant lead.
And right now, out there in front, he doesn't have anybody to deal with. No contenders that are battling with him. But a lot of guys said, well, what's going to happen when he gets in race conditions where he's got trucks around him? How will that truck handle them?
Well, he may not have any trucks around him the way that truck's looking right now, but
he's got to catch some people.
Yeah, we've got a long way to go, though. And a lot of guys were telling me that the line he was running, that truck has to stay tight enough getting in the corner. He's really making a nice arc getting in the corner. They think this racetrack's going to loosen up a little bit, and if that happens, those trucks can get loose getting in the corner.
You know, it's one thing to run 5 or 6 laps. You said on the pole, you ought to be fast for 5 or 10 laps. When we start running 30 and 40, these trucks start to give up, the tires go away. We've talked about this progressive banking and how important it is to keep your truck turning in the center of the corner. But man, Phil, you got to give it a lot of gas exiting. It's really hard to keep that right rear tire from spinning, using that right rear tire up and using your truck up along the way.
Good battle here. Joey Coulter just in front of John West Townley. Joey Coulter in the 22, Townley in the 09. Right behind them, Todd Bodine in the 11 truck, the other Red Horse Racing entry.
Yeah, during qualifying, we talked to some of the Red Horse guys, and they were really trying something last night in that first practice session. A lot of the guys went back to what they had run before previously. Parker Kligerman stayed with that new setup. Right now, it seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah, said he liked it a lot. As we see a couple trucks side by side there.
That's Justin Lofton on the inside of David Mayhew. Justin's needing a charge from the back. We talked to him earlier today, and he said he'd wrecked a few trucks. They'd gotten a little bit behind. He thinks he has a great truck for tonight, and he needs to get back on a roll. He's 5th in the points, lost some ground lately.
You know, and that's exactly the same thing Eddie Sharp said, the owner of that team. He made the comment, we've got to get this train back on the tracks. It had hopped the tracks a little bit, but we got to get it back on track, and he thinks that Iowa's the place to do it.
Felt like they had a good, strong top 5 truck coming in here tonight. See that James Buscher was just able to make the pass on Johnny Sauter to take over the 4th spot.
So Buscher moving up to the front. Parker Kligerman has the lead. Piquet Jr. running second. Ryan Blaney is third. Buscher 4th. Sauter 5th. Hornaday, Cale Gale, Miguel Paludo, Ty Dillon, and Matt Crafton are your top 10.
Boy, it looked like Nelson Piquet Jr. had a problem coming off turn number 4. Ryan Blaney got a great run and just drove right by him before he got to turn number 1. You see James Buscher now doing the same thing as they enter turn 3.
Yeah, we talked about these trucks giving up and needing that forward bite off the corner. We saw Piquet sideways off turn 4. His truck's already starting to slide around in the back end. He lost 2 spots as a result of it.
One of the things we saw in practice yesterday is guys making runs later on their tires a little bit quicker. So it seems like Goodyear has brought back that same tire that they had here in July, and it's holding up rather well.
Yeah, it certainly is. A lot of the guys were saying we really didn't see much fall off on those used tires. As a matter of fact, Parker Kligerman made his fastest lap in yesterday's practice on, I think, the 22nd or 24th lap.
And Parker Kligerman already going by some of the slower lap traffic here at Iowa Speedway. Parker Kligerman has a 2.5-second lead over second place Ryan Blaney. Is tonight the night Kligerman makes it to victory lane? When we went away, it was a 2.5-second lead that Parker Kligerman had over Ryan Blaney. Now he has a 3.5-second lead over James Busher, who's moved into the second spot, took second away from Ryan Blaney. Welcome back to the American Ethanol 200 from Iowa Speedway. Good battle for that third spot now. Blaney and Sauter battling it out.
Yeah, they've been side by side for a couple laps. Looks like Johnny's going to be able to clear him as they get down to turn number 3. He's got the spot. Johnny Sauter up to third.
What a relief it is when you're down on the inside of another truck like we saw Sauter there and you hear your spotter say clear up. It's so hard, Phil, to exit these corners with another truck on the right rear corner of you and keep the gas down and complete that pass. So when you're able to get it down and the spotter says clear, that's a great feeling.
And you need all that room. You need that room to let that truck go out to the outside wall.
Ray Dunlap.
Hey guys, we're watching that drinkb.com Chevrolet right there, the number 30 for Nelson Piquet Jr. He said his truck is loose on entry, tight in the middle, loose off. When his crew chief Chris Carrier asked him how much, he said coming off it's about a 7. So that must be quite loose. Right in front of him you'll see the 29 Cooper Standard Ram of Ryan Blaney. He's got the same situation, loose, tight, loose, but he said his is only about a 4.
Well, we saw the 30 of Nelson Piquet do about an 8 or 10 off of turn 4. His truck turned sideways. He lost a couple of spots. We saw Blaney get by him, but Piquet's figured out how to manage that loose off, and he's returned to the back tailgate of Blaney. So look at Ryan Blaney up the hill. That's what these drivers have to do, and that's what this track offers. It's a great option. You're not working well on the bottom. Let's slide up and see if there's more grip for me up there, and that's what these guys are going through right now. Their trucks are transitioning, so they're using different lines.
We talk about these trucks being loose as you drive off the wall to go down the corner. If to go all the way to the bottom, you're going to have a tighter truck. That's why they can leave it up a little higher, drive a little straighter in the corner, and tighten that thing up. Caution flag on the racetrack.
First caution flag comes out on lap 23. And it doesn't look like there's trucks around, but potentially something involved. Oh, there it is right there. The 27 of Ryan Lynch around up on the inside wall.
He is around.
He definitely is.
Pointing the wrong direction.
Not sure if he made any contact or not. We'll see as he gets that truck turned around. He's waiting for a break in the traffic.
That was in turn number 4 that Ryan Lynch gets turned around in the 27. So this will bunch the field back up. Parker Kligerman in front of the field here at Iowa. First caution. Parker Kligerman, your race leader. He had a 3.5-second lead over James Busher. That is now gone. And the reason why we're under the caution, we'll ride along with James Busher, who is in second, and just in front of him, Ryan Lynch in that 27. Here's a close call.
Just got a little bit loose coming in the corner. You heard James Busher grab third gear. He wanted to be able to take some evasive action quickly if he needed to.
And that's how hard these things are to drive, Phil. You see a little damage on the nose of that truck. He nosed it into the inside wall. These guys are right on the edge of control, Rick. You know, when you watch it on TV, it looks like it's a pretty calm ride, but when you're running speeds like Parker Kligerman is leading this race, these things are a handful.
We're talking about speeds in excess of 150 miles an hour as they enter the corner.
Ray, the first truck that came onto pit road was the 6.
Yeah, just a little bit of a surprise down here, Rick. I didn't think people would be in this early. Lots of guys saying we want to stay out and get our tires a little bit later in the race. But Justin Lofton said he wasn't handling very well. His truck was a little bit loose and the front end was bouncing a bit. So Dan Borman, his crew chief, called him in. And they put 4 tires on this thing and filled it up with Sunoco fuel. So these guys possibly in a very different window than the rest of our competitors. Hermie, what's happening on your end of pit road?
Well, Ray, James Busher is talking about being free on exit. Crew Chief Mike Shelton is reminding him that they changed the balance on this truck a little bit from the July race because what cost them an opportunity at the win was a blown right front tire. So they wanted to put some more of the balance towards the right rear of the truck. They've done that, but a little bit too free. They were planning to come for fuel only, and a track bar adjustment had the leaders pitted. But right now, they're just hoping the truck comes to James Busher.
Guys, remember, he led 91 laps here in July before he cut down that right front tire.
Yeah, I thought the right front tire lost him the race. Now he's on the outside of row number 1 for this restart. Parker Kligerman has been dominating. He's led every lap up to this point. We'll see how he does on this restart. Coming out of turn number 4. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
And Phil, I don't see Kligerman going anywhere on this restart. Those guys on second and third had closed the gap on him, running basically the same lap times. So maybe Parker had her in cruise control, but if not, he's fixing to have some company he didn't know he was going to have, and it's coming in the form of Buescher on the outside.
Buescher with the momentum coming off of turn number 2, battling for the lead as they go through 3 and 4. James Buescher has the lead as they come out of 4.
He's picked up right where he left off on lap number 91 in July. Strong Chevrolet.
So Buescher out in front.
That's what's tough about driving off to a big lead. You think, I got these boys, and when they line up right behind you, you find out you weren't exactly as sure of that as you thought.
Now we're going to see how his truck reacts to traffic. He's going to be in some dirty air with trucks in front of him and behind him.
And let's continue to keep our eyes on this 33 truck, Cale Gill. He's just been steadily coming through the field. Ty Dillon there you see looking to the inside of Miguel Paludo. Cale's had some fast trucks this year, and when he was the fastest, he made some mistakes, and the thing got away from him. I think Jerry Baxter and that team have him a truck tonight that he can contend with, and I bet he drives a smart race.
Had a great top 5 finish at Dover, a very challenging racetrack, so he can get it done.
And you remember how fast he was at Bristol and got in a crash late in the going.
Cale Gill ducks in behind the green number 9 of Ron Hornaday, so Hornaday back out in front of Cale Gill. Miguel Paludo just behind him.
Great to see that green truck. Some new sponsorship for Ron Hornaday in the Truck Series.
Always competitive though, Ron Hornaday. 4-time champion. Finished second here back in July. Had a great truck. Hermie talked about how important the restarts were. He got the lead on a restart and lost it on a restart.
And you know, they talk about easy in, get in the corner easy, and then run off hard. I hear that all the time, people telling young drivers that. No one told Ron Hornaday that. He drives down into the corner further and deeper than anyone, but he's able to somehow make it work.
Side by side here. Timothy Peters, your point leader, just to the inside of Matt Crafton in that 88. Those guys battling for position.
And just ahead of them, there's another side-by-side battle between Ryan Blaney and Nelson Piquet Jr. There's battles all over this track.
This one is for 10th, and right now Crafton has the advantage on the outside line, but Timothy Peters not giving up as he works back to the inside.
See Joey Coulter hanging right in there behind that side-by-side battle. There's that 4th place battle between Piquet Jr. in the 30 and Blaney in the 29.
Blaney working the high side and the momentum.
Oh, we got a crash off turn 4. Crafton and Peters into the wall. Point leader into the wall.
And the 4 also sliding through the infield. Augie Grill slides across the grass.
Grill's okay, but our point leader isn't. There's a lot of damage to that 17 truck. Looked like he and Matt Crafton were racing off turn 4 and got together, and both of those trucks into the wall.
The two of them battling for the 10th position, and they were side by side.
Yeah, we have just been watching that battle for 10th.
And now we see the 17. Looks like there's a little bit of damage to the right rear.
Oh, it's to the right front too. That truck hit pretty solidly. Look at all the concrete dust in the right front tire and wheel. That's knocked the toe off for sure. We'll see what this team's made of. We've seen Ty Dillon's team be able to rebound after problems early. Oh, he just doesn't have him cleared, Phil.
Just looked like he thought he was clear. You talked about how important it was to a driver to hear that clear coming off the corner. He wasn't clear.
Right along with the 17.
These are the mistakes you can't make if you're going to win a championship. Too early in the race to be assuming there's room.
Did he get out of the throttle just before he slid up? Maybe had to chase the front end up there or something. Didn't intend to do that.
We also saw, again, Augie Grill in the 4 sliding. He was on the inside as those two were slapping the wall coming off of turn 4.
Huge point implications here. We talked about how tight.
Rebounds.
Yeah, you got that right. We've seen amazing accomplishment. Most all the leaders to pit road, guys.
Buescher, who is out in front, leads the field onto pit road. Then Parker Kligerman, Johnny Sauter, Nelson Piquet Jr. And let's find out about the 31, Hermie.
Well, James Buescher is a little bit free on the racetrack so far, and they know they really need to, when they got out front, the balance of the truck changed a little bit, so no adjustments this time for Buescher. He's back down and away. Ray?
Well, Johnny Sauter said he'd like a couple of adjustments. They went air pressure on the right side and added just a little bit of tape to the nose. All the way up here in pit stall number 1 is Parker Kligerman. They're going to hang 4 tires on this Toyota. Parker Kligerman gets the front of the nose cleaned off a little bit, and he'll be back to the racetrack, rolling out right behind Joey Coulter.
Is James Buescher the only truck that didn't take tires?
No, I think there were several trucks that didn't take tires.
Quite a race off of pit road. Parker Kligerman with 4 fresh tires. We'll see how those handle when we come back. Welcome back. More work going on to the 17 of Timothy Peters coming into this race. He was your point leader. Also on pit road, the 88 of Matt Crafton. Also damage to that truck.
Not as much damage to Crafton. You can see a little bit to the right front fender. I don't know if that truck, he can still be competitive with that truck. But the big deal about hitting the wall here at Iowa, safer barriers all the way around. Peters pounded into the wall, but that's a safer barrier. It moved and helped that truck from having more damage than it did.
Listen to this. This was the spotter talking.
Still outside. Corner, still outside.
You could see this, you could hear the spotter say still there, and it didn't look like to me that Peters lost the nose. It just looked like to me he thought that he had enough clear on Crafton, he could take that spot away. But Matt's just racing his race. He didn't dream that the point leader would cut him off and put them both in jeopardy like he did there off turn 4. Lucky break though, hitting that safer barrier here at Iowa instead of concrete.
Filled all in line, it's Drew Herring and Jason White making up row number 1. Herring has chose the inside line. Jay White on the outside. Green flag back in the air.
Good start by Jay White. They're side by side to turn 1. We saw the last restart. Busher was able to get around the outside of Parker Kligerman. Can Jay White make it work?
Lofton shoving the 18 of Drew Herring out into the lead, and now Lofton following up for second. Jay White running in third now.
Second corner in a row. Johnny Sauter makes it 3 wide and makes some passes. You see him inside of the 30 of PK Jr.
Yeah, they split the 39 of Ryan Sieg, so PK Jr. on the outside, Johnny Sauter on the inside.
Good start to a Truck Series career for Drew Herring.
Going to lead some laps?
Absolutely.
Got that right. And also another strong start on the high side by James Busher. We saw him go there earlier. That means that truck's versatile. Watch for that to pay off late in the race. You remember how this baby was won just a couple of months ago.
And a lot of differing pit strategies already. We're only 42 laps into this race, on lap 43, and already we've had different guys come onto pit road at different times. We have 3 wide racing right now, 4 wide through 1 and 2, and we have guys who got tires and guys who didn't get tires on pit road.
And Drew Herring hasn't stopped yet, our leader.
We've got it all in the first 3 spots. The leader hasn't stopped. Justin Lofton was in on lap 25, and third place was in on lap 36, and these guys are trying to wreck.
4 wide still here in Iowa, and they can do it as they cross the stripe.
What great racing here. And that's what this racetrack was designed for and built for, this kind of racing.
We really do have to tip our hat to Rusty Wallace. He was here earlier for driver introductions and had a big hand in the design of this racetrack. He's done a great job here in Iowa.
Really, the entire staff here at the Iowa Speedway.
Yes.
From the time you drive in the gate, that they make your visit here pleasurable.
And you know, this is a racing community. People, the town, the area love this racetrack. NASCAR in Iowa is a big deal, and I love the fact that the trucks here and the nationwide cars are here. Heck, I'd love to see the Cup cars come here. This is an entertaining racetrack.
Like as well. Yeah, very, very racy racetrack here in Iowa. And you see a little bit of sliding there by the 9 of Ron Hornaday trying to get in front of Miguel Paludo in the 32.
So there's Ty Dillon now. Looks his way to the inside of Ryan Sieg. There's Jeff Chiquette, the 97. There's the 09, John West Townley.
A couple laps ago, the 09 had a close call. Take a look.
Watch how sideways the 97 gets here as well.
Well, that's
Jeff
4
Chiquette.
wide.
That's definitely 4 wide.
Those guys were arguing over space. How cool is it, though, that our leader, Drew Herring, we got to follow him in the setup, listening to him and Eric Phillips talk about that truck and tune on that truck. So these are some good lap times. I don't care where we are on the sheet. I like what you're doing right now, Drew. I liked hearing that young man talk about learning how to lean on the truck, what it takes to go fast in a truck. And heck, he's faster than anyone right now. Not only is he leading the race, last couple times by, he's been the class of the field.
And remember now, not only is this his first Truck Series start, he has never been in a truck before until he started practice yesterday.
Very few drivers have ever been able to jump into the Camping World Truck Series and win in their very first start. Herbie.
Well, guys, Timothy Peters is back on the racetrack. Crew chief Butch Hilton trying to guide him back through the field. Now, they do have the splitter on the right front that is dragging on the racetrack, especially down into turn 1. But the more the tires build up air pressure, you can see it right there on the racetrack, the more the air pressure builds up. They are hoping that some of that spark will go away. But right now, they're just trying to hold on, stay on the lead lap, and maybe get back to pit road next caution. Ray?
You know, Hermie, Rick was talking about all these differing strategies. Well, most of the crew chiefs told me they could go about 66 laps. That's their fuel window. Well, a number of guys came down. Almost everyone went with fuel, but that was including Cale Gale, Nelson Piquet, and Johnny Sauter did fuel only. They didn't do tires. Justin Lofton put on 4, so did Tom O'Dine, Ryan Blaney, and Parker Kligerman. So some guys with 4 tires, some with fuel only, and as you said, the guy that was out front hasn't come to pit road yet. It's awesome down here. We got a lot to talk about.
Well, out front it is Drew Herring driving that Toyota Tundra for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Justin Lofton runs second, James Buescher third, Johnny Sauter is fourth, and Nelson Piquet Jr. is top 5. And Ryan Blaney, Parker Kligerman, Jason White, Cale Gale, and Ty Dillon your top 10.
Just an update on Peters and Crafton. Peters is 22nd. His last lap time was 24.26, half a second slower than our leader. And Crafton's all the way back in 26, and he's just a little bit slower than Peters. So both those trucks are in jeopardy of having a tough night, no doubt.
And with this being 8 races to the end of this season, we talked about the points battle and how tight it was coming into this race. Well, it's so tight that because of what has happened on the racetrack as they're running, Timothy Peters has fallen to 3rd in the point standings already. James Buescher is leading, and Ty Dillon's moved up to 2nd.
Yeah, as they run right now, a full 14 points behind would be Timothy Peters. We saw that 29 and Ryan Blaney get really loose, trying to make his way by the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
We've seen a couple amazing accomplishments by teams this year. Rebounding. We talked about Ty Dillon at the open of the show, rebounding after problem after problem in that team, getting him a good finish. It'll be interesting to see what Peters and Crafton's teams are able to do to try to keep them in this championship chase.
Can they rebound from an early incident problems? John West Townley in the 09 is around.
That's the exit of turn number 2. That's a break that Timothy Peters and Matt Crafton definitely needed.
They got to work on those trucks. They're not near fast enough. The teams have probably had a chance to formulate a plan. A quick caution, certainly, Phil, is what those teams needed.
Take a look at why the 09 went around.
It's on the inside of the 08.
He lost it going into the corner and battled it all the way to Loft, and it finally went around on him.
Joey Coulter and Brendan Newberry, great job avoiding on the high side.
They may have made some contact when Joey Coulter pulled to the outside. Let's see if we can see that right here. Joey's going to pull to the outside to go around John West, see if he runs into the 14.
Wow.
They
looks
go
like
up
he
the
might
racetrack,
have.
and there could have been some contact there between the 22 and 14.
Well, and Coulter couldn't see where he was going. He was driving into that smoke, went high and hoped for the best. Newberry was already there, but great evasive action.
So Drew Herring, with 55 laps complete, would have to come to pit road.
Definitely, Rick. They can go 70, 80 laps maybe with the caution laps that we've had so far, but it's time to come to pit road for Drew Herring. But what a great start for this team, for this young man, putting that truck out front for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Yeah, 17 back on pit road.
Yeah, Butch Hilton wasted no time, even though pit road was closed. We've got work to do. We're going to bring him in. We're going to sacrifice the track position.
And you know, we talk about that splitter dragging. That doesn't sound like a very big deal. It's a huge deal. It takes the contact patch of the front tires off the ground. The truck won't turn because that nose is skidding across the road, so they got to get that baby up.
They're working a lot on the front right now, and you see some of the NASCAR officials down there making sure that if there is something broken on that truck, they'll make them go behind the wall to fix it too if it's too extensive. Hermie.
The 18 is on pit road for the first time. It'll be 4 tires, some no fuel, a slight air pressure adjustment. They're a little bit snug from the center out. Ray?
Johnny Sauter had a close call. He had to duck in right in front of the 14. He is going to get 4 tires here. They have a little hang up on the right front. That's going to cost him a bit of time. Now for the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr., he's talking about making air pressure adjustments to try to help that tight in the center. Piquet will roll out right ahead of his teammate, James Buescher.
Those trucks both ahead of the 18 of Drew Herring, so great pit work by the teams that beat our leader off pit road.
We've got several trucks that stayed on the racetrack. Justin Lofton right now inherits the lead with Ryan Blaney running second.
One more look at why we are under caution for the second time tonight. The 09 of John West Townley around in front of the pack. Welcome back. Lofton and Blaney, 1 and 2. Green flag back in the air. Now the battle for the lead. To the bottom of the racetrack goes the 7 of Parker Kligerman, trying to take the lead back.
We saw that work a couple times here back in July. The guy on the inside second row taking advantage of a restart.
Staying to the inside of that 6 for Lofton. Battling for the lead. Now Blaney trying to battle back on the outside.
Whoa, sideways.
Into each other up front. Kligerman on the inside. Lofton on the outside. They stay side by side as they go into 1 and 2.
Remember the battle these guys had for the ARCA Championship a couple years ago.
Battled right down to the very last lap for that championship. Lofton was the one who prevailed, and now it is Kligerman on the inside. Looks as though he's going to be able to get in front of the 6 as they go down the front stretch.
I love truck racing. These guys don't care it's not halfway yet. They're running as hard as they can go. Kligerman loves leading the race. He hasn't done a whole lot of that. He's never won one of these babies. And look on the outside, there's Ryan Blaney driving up to the 2nd spot. Ty Dillon started in the back half of the top 10. He's racing for the lead now. You never know what's going to happen in one of these things.
Ryan Blaney now tucks in behind the 7 of Parker Kligerman in that 2nd spot. Battle for 3rd continues. Ty Dillon on the inside trying to take it away from Justin Lofton. Look again at how the pass for the lead took place on the right side of your screen.
It's off for turn number 4. Very, very close. Maybe a little bit of contact. See a little tire mark on the quarter panel of the 7 truck.
And that could be bad for the guy who was on his outside at that time, because that's right there at the exhaust of the 7, which would have been touching the right rear of the truck on the outside.
We're not considering all those things, Rick. We're just gonna lean, we're gonna rub, we're gonna race hard.
How about Todd Bodine and Ron Hornaday racing for position back here? A couple multi-time champions.
Yeah, that's a battle for the 5th spot right there.
So we got the old guys running 5th and 6th, and the new guys running 1st and 2nd. And I wouldn't put the advantage to either one of those two groups of folks. Hornaday or Todd Bodine could both come up here and win this race, as could Kligerman or Blaney. That's how tough this truck series is and how competitive it is.
That 13 of Johnny Sauter's been pretty strong here tonight too, guys.
And Drew Herring, who was leading this race after coming onto pit road, now he's running in the 12th spot, so that's where he is sifted back to.
Watch Johnny Sauter now, the 13. He's on the outside. A little bit of contact from the 4 of Augie Grill. Nice save by Johnny. See a little tire mark there in front of the left rear tire.
And it's short track racing. We're starting to see a little tire marks on some of these trucks as we've completed 65 laps.
Yeah, we're a 1/3 of the way through this thing and they're beating and banging.
Kligerman, Blaney, Ty Dillon, Lofton, and Bodine, your top 5.
It's a battle for 8th right there. Cale Gill has 8th in the 33 Ream Chevrolet. Busher, that Wolfpack Reynolds Chevrolet is going for it.
Wolfpack on the bottom of the racetrack.
You could say it either.
You're giving me a hard time here, it sounds like. Wolfpack goes by on the inside. Now so does Johnny Sauter. He's going to make the pass on Cale Gill.
Well, Johnny Sauter's truck is good entering the corner. We've seen him drive it down the corner and clear somebody before he got to the center.
Now we're seeing the 18. Drew Herring trying to make his way by the 33 of Cale Gill. That's another spot for position. It looks like smoke coming out of the 4.
Looks like somebody got in his left front.
Caution has come out once again. We got a problem in turn number 2. Ron Hornaday, a lot of damage to the back of that truck.
Yeah, if that's not terminal, that's going to be awfully close to terminal for Ron Hornaday. So excited about having this new sponsor, Smoky Mountain Herbal Chew. They have it for 4 races, but a lot of damage to that 9. He was running in the 6th spot. We saw him battling with Ty Bodine for that 5th spot just a couple laps ago.
Yeah, a lot of damage there. Take another look at how this happened.
Whoa.
That's the 4 truck getting into the outside while he and Jason White made some contact.
He was all up beside Jason White. Jason didn't know he's there. You think maybe that's a tough area for the spotters to see, Phil? Maybe the drivers don't really know what's going on there? Wow. Nelson Piquet Jr. just couldn't hold his truck low.
Did he make contact? It looked like he might have made some contact with Hornaday.
I don't think he could hold his truck low when he got to turn 1 and got into the left rear corner of Ron Hornaday, and Ron took a ride into the wall.
So Augie Grill, we saw smoke coming out from underneath that truck, and now we're seeing the sparks as the right front looks as though it's gone down on that truck. And then also the damage to the 9 of Hornaday as he limps back onto pit road and behind the wall to do some extensive work on the 9 truck. Racing premieres tomorrow, and then the second part is Monday on the Race Hub, so you want to take a look at that.
So happy we get to take speed behind the doors and see what all goes on to racing for one of these racing in one of these chases for the Cup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be unprecedented. It's going to be fun to watch.
A lot of action on the track here too, man. As the caution came out, it was 2 wrecks, 2 separate incidents, Phil.
Yeah, we see the 23 of Jason White. He's on the inside of Ross Chastain. Ross is going to go by. I think Jason may have thought he had a hole there. Unfortunately, the 4 of Augie Grill was there.
There was nowhere near a hole.
This is the second incident.
You can see PK dives to the bottom. He can't hold his truck low, and he's up off the bottom of the racetrack, and he gets into Hornaday and sends Ron into the wall, and eventually Ron to the garage.
I'm not sure that the caution flag wasn't already out for Augie Grill when that happened.
Bryn Newberry in the 14. A lot of damage to that truck, but he'll get the Aaron's lucky dog, so he'll get a lap back.
Remember, that was the incident when the John West Townley spun out over there off of turn number 2, the 09.
Hermie, how's Ty Dillon doing tonight?
Well, he's got his track position right now, Rick. He's up to 3rd, but not really happy with the truck. Too loose on entry. He cannot come to pit road, so they're instructing him, put more brake bias on the front of the truck. That should help his entry. We'll see if it does.
Field all in line 2x2 once again. Kligerman and Blaney 1 and 2 once again as this one gets back underway. Green flag back in the air.
Remember, Kligerman took the inside on the initial start, put Blaney in the outside. Now this time Kligerman takes the outside.
And look at Buscher. We talked about him making moves on the high side. On most restarts, he took them 3 wide to the bottom there. Opportunity is what lies when they throw the green flag here at Iowa. You know you can spread out. You know you can take different lanes, and these drivers all try to take advantage of it.
2 and 3 wide as they work their way through 3 and 4. 4 positions, 75 of 200 laps in the books. We're on lap 76.
See, Nelson Piquet Jr. now has made his way up to the 2nd spot. There's Justin Lofton, the 6 on the inside of the 29 of Ryan Blaney.
And here comes Ryan Blaney working to the outside, trying to take that spot away from Lofton. Has the momentum. He'll take it away. Here comes Ty Dillon as well. Dillon to the outside of the 6 of Lofton.
I like what I'm seeing in this kid, Blaney, because his truck wasn't working well early on the bottom of the racetrack. He moved up to try to compensate, get some grip up there. He likes it up there. Once he moved up, he finds that his truck is really fast, and you can see he's all over the back of PK. Probably look to the outside of him down here in 3 and 4.
He really rolls the center well. You see him peek to the outside there as we watch this great side-by-side battle between Lofton and the 6, Sauter and the 13 for the 5th spot.
And that's exactly what Blaney did. You can see up ahead from the 6 of Justin Lofton. That's Blaney on the outside of the yellow truck. He's making the high side work for him. He's going to grab the 2nd spot.
And Kligerman's doing it again. He is out front. He continues to put a lead over this field. Nelson Piquet Jr. trying to hold on to 2nd, but he's a 2nd behind. And now Blaney has that 2nd spot, but a 2nd behind Parker Kligerman.
Well, let's see what happens to Ryan Blaney now that he has clean racetrack. He was able to pass the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr. and still run the fastest lap on the racetrack that last lap.
Well, he's running up there where few are, so not many people are going to get in his way. That'll pay dividends when he gets into traffic.
And again, the most recent caution that came out, the 9 of Ron Hornaday had issues on the track, backed it into the wall. Hornaday outside of his truck and with Ray.
Well, the last time we were here at Iowa, Ron Hornaday finished 2nd. That's not going to happen tonight. I see the guys working on this truck. Are they trying to get you back in or just get it on the semi?
Yeah, the truck arms and everything are good. It just pushed the fuel cell around the rear end, so they can get it back out, hopefully. But that's a shame. I mean, it was a decent truck. We were just really free getting in, and we were working on it. Made a little better, but it just snapped loose on me. So hate to see it for Smoky Mountain and all the guys, AM, FM, Joe Donette, everybody. These guys are working hard, and we don't need this right now.
Brand new sponsor from Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff, and they will be back for 3 more races later this season.
Sounds like Ron doesn't feel as though there was contact between he and Nelson Piquet Jr. We had that one shot of it, and it looked like there might have been some contact, but maybe not, according to Ron.
Remember when we heard Nelson talking at Pocono when he and Todd Bodine got together? He said, I don't race like that. Tell him I did not do that. That was his fault. Well, if Ron doesn't think that Nelson got a hold of him, I'm sure he didn't. You can feel if someone bumps into you. Ron said, I just got loose. So apologies to PK. I like the way this young man races. He's all over the side of Ryan Blaney. Can't complete that pass, but he's aggressive and he makes few mistakes. That's what you look for in a young man coming into the Truck Series new. Both these cats exemplify that. Blaney's strong and fast early in the going, and we've seen the same thing out of PK.
Closing in on the halfway point of this race. Again, 200 laps, 175 miles, and we're on lap 83, finishing up to 83 and going to 84. The guys up front, Parker Kligerman and Ryan Blaney, 2 drivers that have never been get to victory lane. Could that change tonight? Could we add another name to the list of first-time winners in the Camping World Truck Series? Well, awfully strong, even from the drop of the green flag, has been Parker Kligerman. Can he stay out front and get that first win in the Truck Series? Stay with us. Well, we were talking food earlier during qualifying. I think we went that direction again. The American Ethanol 200 continues, closing in on the halfway point. It's Parker Kligerman who has a 2.8 second lead over Ryan Blaney. Again, those two started 1 and 2, but that's about 1% of the story that has taken place tonight here at Iowa.
Good battle for 7th right there. The 6 of Justin Lofton has it. That's the 11 of Ty Bodine. And I think if we had to give an award for the guy that's improved the most from the beginning of practice last night to now, that would be that 11 truck of Ty Bodine.
And that's a good looking truck too. Toyota came on board to sponsor it, and Todd's done a nice job. I followed the team on Twitter, and they talked about steady progress. There wasn't a fast time on the scoreboard, but consistently they liked where they were going with that truck. Another team that I like where they're going, we talk about rebounding, making up for mistakes. That's Timothy Peters. He's up to the 15th spot, and his lap times, Phil, have been within a 10th or 2 of the top 5. So this team's doing a nice job of trying to salvage the bind that their driver, Timothy Peters, put them in. And this is a chance for a team to bail the guy out.
And we've got over 100 laps to go here. We're going to have at least another pit stop here. Maybe work on that thing some more.
And you see Sparks as he gets into the corner. So they know there is some work that they can do to it and some improvements they can make to it. But
no trouble. Justin Lofton into the wall hard. Front end of that truck smashed as the caution comes out once again.
See damage of another truck rolling down the back stretch. It looks like the 47 of Benjamin Reynolds.
Justin Lofton was in the 7th spot, and you see hard contact with the wall, as you mentioned.
I think that
07.
The 07. I thought it was a 47 at first, but it's the 07 of Caleb Rourke.
We talked about earlier Justin Lofton and Eddie Sharp and those boys tearing up some trucks, needing to get back on track. Had a fast truck here, but another wrecked race vehicle for that team. Look at the front end of that 07 truck. It's all askew off the front tires. He's made heavy contact to one of the walls.
See, there's a 07. He got up in the loose stuff a little bit.
The truck hit Justin Lofton.
Wow. Head on into the outside safer barrier for Justin Lofton.
I said he hit one of the walls. Don't ever assume what these people hit. I mean, he made contact with Justin Lofton. You can see there's
about tore the front end off that truck.
It did, and Lofton was trying to slip by the 07 of Rourke, but just couldn't make it under him.
Remember, we watched it in slow motion. That happened a lot faster than what we saw it. Tough break for Justin Lofton. Comes in here right in the thick of things in this point battle. 31 points out in 5th spot, and he's going to take a hit here.
See him taking his helmet off and throwing the Hans device back in the truck. He'll have to climb in the ambulance and make the trip into the infield care center to be checked out. But it's good to see him walk and climb into that ambulance after hitting the wall head on.
Ryan Blaney's going to make his way down pit road, as well as Ty Dillon, with just over 100 laps to go. Don't think they can make it the rest of the way. Pretty sure they can't. Maybe about 90 laps tops.
Blaney running 2nd. Ty Dillon was 5th, and you see them ducking on to pit road. Hermie.
Interesting pit strategy. They come into pit road. There'll be fuel only and a wedge and track bar adjustment to try to get this truck tighter on entry. Ray?
Well, the 7 stayed out, but the 29 decides they're going to put some fuel in this thing and go with tires. They'll get 4 tires here on lap 97 for this Cooper Standard Ram. When I was listening in to truck number 7, they said they could go about 40 more laps. So I guess they're thinking that there's going to be another caution soon.
I just love what you talked about earlier, Ray. We've got it mixed up on pit road, different strategies. That's what makes truck racing so fun. You only have a limited amount of tires you can throw on your truck, so these guys will come to pit road, get a little gas, maybe a chassis adjustment, trying to save those crucial tires for later in the race. Gets everything all mixed up. That's why we have so many different leaders and so many lead changes.
And we've seen how that 7 truck likes to be out front by himself.
Take another look at what just happened. 07 coming off the wall, catching the 6. And the 6 of Lofton right into the outside wall.
Yeah, Lofton with absolutely nowhere to go. Tough break for Justin Lofton.
Frustrated Justin Lofton throws the steering wheel onto the dash. So a early end to his night, not what he wanted to see. And welcome back to Iowa Speedway. We have just passed the halfway point of the American Ethanol 200 presented by Hy-Vee.
Good, Rick. I need.
You need a breath, don't you?
Man, these guys race like it's the last lap from the pitch of the green. We're only halfway.
Fifth caution came out. This is the reason why. That's the 07 having troubles up against the wall. He comes down, clips the 6.
They're just, some wrecks are unavoidable. There was no way for Justin Lofton to know that 07 truck wasn't just going to get it straightened out and go on down the road. He was as far to the left as he could be, and wham, off the wall come Caleb Rourke, and look at the damage to that 6 truck.
Yeah, and once again, the 6 not wanting to be in the garage this early as we've just passed the halfway point. One of the things we have tonight is a new director, and that's because our director, Roger Vinson, is pictured right here with his son, Ryan Luke. Came into this world a little over a week ago, and so we want to congratulate Roger and Melissa and Chica. Obviously, we got to keep the whole family in there, but adding to the Truck Series family, Ryan Luke, born last Thursday. So a little over a week old.
Chica's a dog, too, by the way.
Chica is the family dog. But we're thinking about you, Roger and Melissa.
Dear United States of America, it has come to our attention that right now our country has several things in need of repair. Just want to let you know that we make the tools to fix just about anything, including attitudes. Sincerely, your friends at Channel Lock. Channel Lock. For 125 years, fiercely made in Meadville, Pennsylvania, USA.
Max Film, multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple. The easy spray answer to penetrate, lubricate, and leave a long-lasting film that protects. Forget old school aerosols and break free with Max Film, multi-purpose synthetic lubricant from Royal Purple.
Energizer Ultimate Lithium AA batteries now last up to 9 times longer versus Energizer Max, which means up to 9 times less waste. Improved Energizer Ultimate Lithium. That's positive energy.
Great crowd once again here in Newton, Iowa, in the Iowa Speedway for the American Ethanol 200. Under 100 laps to go. We've passed the halfway point. A little bit cooler here in the Midwest this time around. Last time we were here in July and it was scorching heat. And now mid-70s, maybe even upper 60s right now as we're closing in on the final 97 laps of this race.
Justin Lofton has been checked and released from the infield care center.
And he's standing by with Hermie.
Well, the bad luck continues for you guys. Wrong place, wrong time. What did you see from inside the truck and early night, Indy night for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. The number 6 ESR Silverado is running really good. We were definitely making gains on it. We got to lead some laps, which was really nice. The 07, I guess, blew a tire in front of me or something, and I was just hoping he'd ride the wall and I'd be able to be down low enough to avoid him. And unfortunately, I wasn't low enough, and it probably ended our night, which is unfortunate for everyone.
That's Justin Lofton. I can't describe how quickly things happen on a racetrack like this, and just wrong place, wrong time. Very, very difficult night for the 6 truck. Very hard for those guys in the points as well.
Thanks, Hermie.
And let's update Peters and Crafton. We saw them both into the outside wall. They both remained on the lead lap. Crafton is in 22nd. He's been on the tail end of the lead lap. They keep working on that truck. But this man, Timothy Peters, is all the way up to the 11th spot. Rebounding is important when it comes to winning a championship. And if his team is able to get him out of this hole that he put them in, he will be so grateful and so appreciative of what this group's been able to do.
And Michael, right after that accident, we mentioned where they were running on the track and the fact that Timothy Peters had came into this race as your points leader. And when they were running on the track after the incident, Timothy had dropped all the way down to 3rd in points, 14 behind James Busher, who was the race or the point leader at that time. Well, that has changed. Now we have Timothy Peters just 2 points back of James Busher, who's running very well on the racetrack still. Ray Dunlap.
Hey guys, the leader Parker Kligerman still has a set of sticker tires down here. I just asked his crew chief Chad Kendrick, why did you not pit when we had the caution at lap 97, excuse me? He said, we are not in the window that I want to be in. But my big question is, how much fuel do they have left? They pitted on lap 36.
I think maybe about 30 laps worth of fuel. I think that's a huge gamble. Michael, we've been talking about during the break. When you have if not the best truck, certainly one of the best trucks here. All you want to do is not take any chances. You don't need to gamble on pit strategy. I think it's a mistake. If they don't catch a caution flag in the next 30 laps, they'll be making a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, and he's got the fastest truck, so you just want to be normal. You don't need to be outside the box because risks is how you take a truck from 10th to 1st. He's got the fastest truck.
Well, we hear risk reward all the time. Will it be a reward for Kligerman? Green flag back in the air.
They're going to go 3 wide again.
Into turn number 1. This time it's side by side for the lead. Here comes Johnny Sauter on the inside, trying to take the top spot away as they go down the backstretch.
What a great corner by Johnny Sauter. We've seen it happen so many times. That's about the 3rd time tonight. The guy in the inside 2nd row makes the move on the restart.
That's a preview of a late restart to win the race. We saw it in July a couple of times. Will we see it tonight?
Johnny Sauter out in front, 3 wide behind him for 3rd.
Look at Ty Bodine trying to creep up the middle and join this battle for the lead. Great run for Ty.
I don't want to jinx him, but I do have to mention Todd Bodine's never won on a short track.
We talked about that at Bristol, our last short track. Todd had a great truck running up in the top 5, got taken out in an accident.
Well, this is a short track that thinks it's a super speedway. Maybe Todd thinks it's a super speedway too.
Exactly. These two stay side by side for the lead. Johnny Sauter on the inside, Kligerman on the outside. Now Kligerman has him cleared. Let's see if he tries to go down to the lower line.
Johnny's truck is so good entering the corner. We've seen him make a lot of moves entering the corner. That time, Parker Kligerman got in the corner just as hard as Johnny.
Kligerman able to go down to the yellow line now through 1 and 2 as they work their way through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Nelson Piquet Jr. running in that 3rd spot, and Todd Bodine holding on to 4th. Busher in the 5th position, his teammate Miguel Paludo running 6th. And Ryan Blaney has dropped back to the 7th spot. Joey Coulter, John West Townley, and Drew Herring, your top 10.
And just outside the top 10 lurks Cale Gill and Timothy Peters. Talks about Cale having a solid truck early in the going. He's running just outside the top 10. See Joey Coulter looking to the inside of Miguel Paludo there off turn 2. There goes Ryan Blaney to the bottom of Busher. Can he make that pass?
We've seen Ryan Blaney work really good on the high side of the racetrack. Now he's trying to make it happen on the bottom.
Wow, he just barely was able to squeeze up behind Busher. Got a nice run on the bottom though.
Side by side for position. Blaney on the inside, Busher on the outside.
The degree of difficulty down there in turn 1 and 2 is a little bit higher, Phil, because right in the middle of the corner when you need to change directions, there's a big hump in the track because of the tunnel that goes underneath the track down there. And so that hump makes your truck want to jump out to the right instead of continuing to the left. See if we can watch Blaney's truck bounce right through there.
Right there.
Look at Busher's truck. It went the wrong direction. That's what that bump in the road does to you.
And they've made it better too. They've worked on it here early part of this year and made it a lot better.
I like a good bump every now and then. I think the teams have to deal with it. Yeah.
I always hear character when we talk about a bumpy or a rough racetrack. Kligerman, Sauter, Piquet Jr., Bodine, and Blaney, your top 5. Blaney has worked his way back into the top 5. Busher, Paludo, Coulter, Townley, and Herring are your top 10. As you mentioned, just outside the top 10, Cale Gill, Timothy Peters, Ty Dillon, Ross Chastain running in the 14th spot. Jeff Choquette in 15th.
The laps just keep ticking off here. That's your truck. That's the truck that's leading the race, but his fuel gauge is pointing over toward E as these laps peel off, and this thing has quite a bit of a green flag feel to it right now. You know, sometimes during the middle of these races you run off some laps. If that happens right here, the dominant truck is going to find himself in a bind.
If I'm Chad Kendrick right now, crew chief for Parker Kligerman, I'm worried. I'm looking for every piece of debris on the racetrack. There's Chad right there. He's going to need a caution flag here, I think, inside of 20 laps, I think, guys.
So, pit road strategy playing out in Iowa. Once again, did Parker Kligerman and his team make a mistake not coming to pit road? Tomorrow, race day delivers the ultimate NASCAR postseason preview. Kevin Harvick joins us live and go behind the scenes with Chase contenders Boyer and Truex Jr. with part 1 of the Speed exclusive all-access Michael Waltrip Racing. NASCAR race day fueled by Sunoco from Chicago tomorrow, 11 Eastern, live on Speed.
Well, it doesn't look like we have 78 laps to go the way these two guys are racing, does it?
That's your battle.
I think they're heating up.
The battle for the top 5. Tabodan likes the low side, and Busher has been up on the outside. Todd's going to give him a little bit of room this time. Cut him off a couple of times before that, but James made the pass on the outside.
Charging on the outside, James Busher taking the spot away from Todd Bodine.
Remember, Todd Bodine's on the same strategy as his teammate, Parker Kligerman, last pitted on lap number 36 a long time ago.
Those tires are getting worn, and you can see the result of that. Not only are we running low on gas, our tires are getting a little bit tired too. Todd Bodine slipping back, but consistently, that fast truck that Parker Kligerman is driving is able to clip off the fastest laps in the race right now, despite the fact being on those older tires.
And we talked about at the very beginning, before the green flag flew, how long they could go on fuel. Maybe on the outside, 90 laps to maybe just a bit over. And we're looking at that number right now for Parker Kligerman.
Yeah, well, we've had 25 caution laps since then, so that adds 25 laps to it. Ray, what's going on down there in the pits?
Well, Phil, my number was 136 to 138. I wrote that on a pad and showed it to Chad Kendrick, and he gave me the thumbs up. I don't know if that means that's the number or they can go more than that.
I'd say that's the number on the high side. You know, I don't see how they can go much further than that. And you can see Ty Dillon working all over Timothy Peters. Couple of guys contending for a championship. Dillon's truck's fine. Heck, Peters has been in a crash, but yet he's still able to hang on to that spot. Ty's working him over on the bottom side. Looks like he's going to be able to make that pass off turn 4 and possibly bring the 97 of Jeff Choquette with him. So
another nice job by Jeff Choquette in that 97 truck. Had a great run here earlier, finished 11th when we were here a couple months ago, trying now to battle his way up towards the top 10, just outside the top 10 now, right now running 14th.
It's fun watching this young man get it, isn't it? And maybe a couple more races this year for him. Talking about possibly Martinsville or Phoenix toward the end of the year, and you can see he just knows how to race. He's able to poke his way underneath Timothy Peters on the right side of the screen. On the other side, that's Miguel Paludo and Joey Coulter. They're racing along for the 7th spot.
Paludo has it. Coulter chasing, trying to reel him in. We see Drew Herring on the right of the screen there, also on the left-hand quadrant of your screen.
Yeah, that was Todd Bodine right in front of Paludo, too. That's the 6th place truck of Todd Bodine. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all together.
Great job by Drew Herring. We talked to him and listened to him before in our setup show today, and talked about him making 800 laps at a short track back in North Carolina in one of Denny Hamlin's Cup cars. If he finishes all 200 tonight, that equals 1,000. That's a pretty good week's work, right?
That is a big week's work. Again, the laps continue to wind down, and that has to make the 17, Parker Kligerman, and his crew chief a little bit nervous that there hasn't been a caution coming out. Now, if a caution does come out, everyone's going to duck onto pit road because they can make it from here.
Yeah, everybody's going to be in their window. So that's exactly what they're banking on, is for the caution flag to come out right now. And if it doesn't come out and they have to come green, it's going to be a long time before some of these other guys have to come to pit road.
And you know, you just can't multiply your mistake. We believe he should have pitted, but he stayed out. Now you can't stay out so far that you run that baby out of gas and make your problems even worse. Whatever lap you got to pit on, just get over it, get to pit road, get some gas, and get back on your way. But don't make 2 mistakes because of trying to get over the first one you made.
And then you just have to hope that the green flag stays out and pit stops cycle through, because nobody can make it to the end of this race without coming to pit road. It just varies as to who came onto pit road the earliest. Kligerman, Sauter, PK Jr., Blaney, and Busher. They're your top 5. Kligerman has a 1-second lead over Johnny Sauter running 2nd. PK Jr., Blaney, Busher, Bodine, Paludo, Coulter, Herring, and Townley are your top 10.
And we're at lap 132. We hear talk of that truck of Parker Kligerman, the 7, need to be on pit road before lap 140. So it's getting ready to be time for the dominant leading truck to make a pit stop.
There's been 25 caution laps since that truck last pitted. And most of the people figure it's about a 1.5, 1.6 caution laps per green flag. That's going to buy him a few more laps, but not enough, I don't think.
We hope it buys him enough to stay out in front. We're going to slip off to break quickly. Hopefully we'll get him for a green flag pit stop when we come back. Short track racing at its finest from Iowa Speedway. The gamble, will it pay off? Parker Kligerman still out front, but he's on pit road now. Here he comes for a green flag pit stop. Not what they wanted to see.
He made it over 100 laps. He went 103 laps.
It's going to be a long, slow road. 40 miles an hour on pit road. He can't speed as he works his way down, trying to get to his stall so that they can do service on that 7 truck. Right.
Well, his truck has been a little bit tight on exit, and he said he's been having a problem with the brakes. The brake pedal has been going clear to the floor. These guys will go to work on this truck. They'll hang 4 fresh Goodyears on there. You see the Sunoco fuel going in. There is one hope for this team to win this race now, and that is for this event to go green all the way to lap 200. Chad Kendrick made his bed there. Now they're laying in it. These guys will get back on track, but if it stays green, they'll be in the catbird seat.
That wasn't the greatest pit stop the team could have had either. A little slow on the right side. You saw the left rear changer. He was there waiting for the jackman to come around, so they needed a fast stop, didn't get it. Have to see what happens, what develops. But this call, we said don't put the fastest truck in jeopardy. That truck's in jeopardy right now.
Big time jeopardy. Fortunately, there's our leader, Johnny Sauter. He only lost 1 lap, so at least he has this opportunity for a wave around if the caution flag were to come out.
Well, and Ray, you mentioned to lap 200. Actually, he only has to go to maybe lap 160 because everybody else still has to come onto pit road. And when they cycle through, he'll be back up in front.
I think they can probably go to 180, maybe 190, though. The guys that stopped on lap 97.
Okay, but 56 of Sauter, he's out front right now, and we saw 100 laps out of the 7 of Parker Kligerman, correct?
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
No cautions lately, though. These guys have run a lot of green flag laps. This is our longest green flag run of the evening, so not the kind of gas mileage they got earlier in the race, Rick. But, you know, you talk about if the caution doesn't come out and they run all the way to lap 190, this becomes a big advantage for the 7 truck of Kligerman because he's clipping around here on those new tires, making some really fast lap times.
But those guys that stop on lap 180, 190, they come in and get about 4 seconds of gas, and they're going to beat his pit stop by 15 seconds.
Yeah, quite a bit quicker of a pit stop they will be able to have if it stays green. Again, that's going to be the big question mark right now. Johnny Sauter's out in front. He's got a lead over Ryan Blaney by 1.1 seconds. But the other thing he has going for him is Johnny Sauter will have to come to pit road within the next probably 20 laps. Ryan Blaney can stay out at least another 30 or 40 laps, so a big advantage there for Blaney.
Look at this action on the track on the left side of your screen. That's Drew Herring driving around Miguel Paludo. That puts Herring up into the top 5. Great job for Kyle Busch Motorsports team. The young man Drew Herring behind the wheel. They felt like they had a good truck when practice was done. He's proven it now. Look how he drives away from Paludo once he makes that move.
In the battle for 5th on the left side of your screen, Johnny Sauter, your race leader on the right side. A little bumping and banging there right in front of Johnny Sauter. Tim George Jr. got into the back of that 4 of Augie Grill. 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr. on pit road.
Also,
just 54 laps to go.
Todd Bodine made the stop the exact same lap that Parker Kligerman stopped as well. So a bunch of these trucks making their way to pit road, Ray.
Here's the deal, Michael. If you make the assumption that this is going to go green, Chris Carrier said we cannot lose too much time to the number 7 truck. These guys had a little bit of a hang-up. Nelson slid it into the pits. They will make a chassis adjustment here as they put 4 tires on the Drink B Chevy. Hermie?
James Busher reported starting to feel a little bit of a vibration in the right front, so they bring him to pit road. 4 tires Sunoco fuel and a little bit of wedge.
Guys, we got a battle for the lead. Left side of your screen here, Ryan Blaney has chased down Johnny Sauter. We know Johnny is getting close to a pit stop. Ryan Blaney has a bunch of laps to go yet.
We talked about Todd Bodine making that pit stop. You could see the advantage of those fresh tires. He's able to drive around our leader. That puts Todd just 1 lap down. Getting just to 1 lap down means he could take a wave around. That's a big deal for Todd.
Hermie 17 on pit road.
Yeah, Rick, and they're just trying to salvage the most possible points. 4 tires and fuel. They got a little bit off sequence with their damaging continuous stops on pit road early tonight, but right now just trying to salvage a top 15 finish.
That's your 12th place truck of David Mayhew that these leaders are lapping by. So only 11 trucks will be on the lead lap.
And Ryan Blaney running second just behind that 13 of Johnny Sauter. Blaney came in on lap 97. Sauter came in on lap 56. So a big difference there between the 2 trucks as Blaney takes over the top spot. Blaney, your leader, once again at Iowa.
Yeah, we know Johnny Sauter's going to have to come to pit road pretty soon.
Oh, he's coming now.
Coming
This
right
time,
now.
Johnny Sauter ducks onto pit road, slows down. That number 13 as he makes his way. Again, just 40 miles an hour as you creep down pit road. You make sure that you don't speed on pit road for Johnny Sauter. He wants another good finish here at Iowa. Ray.
Well, these guys do not have to wait on gas on this hot honey Chevrolet after they get the tires on. Sunoco gas is plugged in here. They're going to the right side. Sauter says his truck has really been good up off of the corner. They've been pretty happy with the handling, and they stumbled just a bit with the jack. It goes up here. They'll lose about a second and a half with that. They got the 4 tires on it. Sauter back to the track, and here comes the 18 to Hermie.
Drew Herring had inherited the race lead. He comes to pit road. It'll be 4 tires. No adjustment for the 18. They feel good about the job this kid has done so far tonight. Actually, they called it off. 2 tires only for the 18.
I feel good about the job this young kid's done as well.
Yes, I do as well.
He's been solid moving through the field, but what about another kid? Ryan Blaney's driving off with the race lead.
Ryan Blaney, just 18 years old, out of High Point, North Carolina, leading at Iowa Speedway.
You know who the youngest driver ever to win in this series?
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch at 20 years, 18 days.
But
that could change.
There's a pit stop ahead for this young man, though. The son of the Buckeye Bullet, Dave Blaney. I know Dave's got to be proud of what his son's able to do here. He doesn't look like he's 18 years old. He doesn't act like it. And what a great job that Ryan Blaney's doing. But we've got to not make any mistakes, Phil. Rick talked about just 40 miles an hour on pit road, how tough it is to come off this racetrack, get down to pit road speed. That's a lot for this young man to consider in his brain, getting that truck down to pit road speed and getting it to the pit crew.
Right now, there are only 6 drivers on the lead lap. Matt Crafton is 23 seconds behind race leader Ryan Blaney. And we see Crafton now going a lap down to Blaney.
That truck looks like a rocket of Blaney's. His tires have close to 70, 80 laps on them, but yet he's able to, 60 laps on them. He's able to just clip through people like they're brand new. See him drive around Crafton there. You know, Brett Keselowski's been close in this truck, but man, this is the most amazing performance I could imagine for this kid.
I was just thinking the same thing, how hard Brad has tried to join the club of being able to win in all 3 divisions, and here his truck right now is leading this race with a 22 on pit road, Hermie.
Yeah, Phil, the 22 of Joey Coulter has been a little bit too free all night long. Not the night they were hoping for. They're going opposite of the 31. Some other trucks on pit road. It'll be 4 tires and fuel and a wind adjustment from 22.
Down and away for the 22. One of the other advantages these trucks have coming in a little bit later is they know how long they can be on pit road and still get back out in front of the guys that they're racing against. We saw Parker Kligerman have a very long pit stop, which is going to hurt him if the green flag pit stops continue to cycle through.
Well, and we know that these trucks such as Ryan Blaney, they might just come in and get 2 tires filled, enough gas to make it to the finish.
Maybe not even 2 tires, depends on how far they can go with that Ram. They may only get a half a can of gas.
And look who he's closed up on the back of now. That's Ty Dillon. Ty's running in the 4th spot, and Blaney just drives around him, or attempts to. Not going to complete the pass off 2.
Take a look at these pit crew comparisons. 17 seconds for Sauter, 17.2 seconds for PK Jr., and 19.4 seconds for Kligerman.
And look at the difference on the right sides right there.
And we're liable to take that down to 4 or 5 seconds, like Phil said, if some of these leading trucks decide just to come in and get gas and go.
Now only 3 trucks remain on the lead lap. Ryan Blaney, Cale Gale, and Jeff Joquette. Joquette came onto pit road on lap 98, about the same cycle as Blaney. Cale Gale came onto pit road at lap 71, so he needs to come to pit road next. We'll see the 33 on pit road very soon.
Yeah, he's got 90 laps on his fuel, so we talked about Cale Gale having a breakout night tonight, running second here late in the going. He's certainly done that so far. A clean pit stop, a good top 5 finish is just what this team needs.
Ryan Blaney, the talk of the town right now, as he is out in front, has a big lead over Cale Gale, but again, will have to come to pit road before the checkered flag flies. 38 laps to go in this race. How about the comeback by the 88 of Matt Crafton, also involved in the incident with Timothy Peters earlier?
Yeah, they spent a lot of time working on that truck on pit road. He last pitted on lap number 103. He's going to he may have a shot to stretch it, but I think about 90 is the outside number on how many laps they can go. So I think he's going to be about 10 laps short.
I think you're right, Phil. With all these green flag laps, you can't think that these things can go possibly much past 90 laps. Is that Cale Gale coming to pit road now? And the caution flies.
Caution comes out just as Cale Gale made his way onto pit road. What will the circumstances be for this field?
He beats Ryan Blaney to the start-finish line.
Don't pit, don't pit.
If he stays rolling, he should be able to get that spot back. Is that right, Michael?
I think it is. I think he beat him to the start-finish line. He gets to drive.
As long as he doesn't stop.
Yeah, and he has to stay at pit road speed. Once he got to pit road speed, he has to stay there. He's going to go back out onto the racetrack.
Good heads-up move by Jerry Baxter, telling him to stay out, stay going down pit road.
Baxter's a veteran. He's seen about everything in this sport and makes a great call there. And watch this 33 truck just drive around, folks, to get back on the lead lap, be one of only 3 trucks.
Well, we're going to have a bunch of wave arounds probably.
Yeah, you're going to have a bunch of wave arounds, but you're also going to have trucks like Ty Dillon, Matt Crafton, Jason White, David Mayhew. All of those guys still needed to make a pit stop, so they would have to make that stop. At this time, you would think if they want to have a chance at winning this race.
Oh, that's right. They can't take the wave around if they make a pit stop. I think they got to gamble and take the wave around and hoping they can get a quick caution.
If they want to win, that would be the only opportunity they would have.
Well, you could look at someone like Ty Dillon who could pit and then be in a position to get the Aaron's lucky dog and get his way back. There's so many differing schools of thought of how to win this race if you're a lap down at this point. We know for sure that Blaney and Choquette and Cale Gale will come to pit road. That's going to put a lot of people with some decisions to make. That's Jerry Baxter calling his guy back to pit road.
Ryan Blaney makes the left turn, comes on to pit road. Race
pretty
leader,
lonely
Ryan
place
Blaney.
right now, isn't it?
He's the only one that came on pit road, at least of the trucks up front. Now there's a few more takers that are coming from behind. Let's go back down to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, it'll be a slight adjustment here on this number 29. They're going to go down 1 round on the right rear jack screw. They're going to put 4 tires and fuel in it. Ryan Blaney said this truck is on a rail. Really like the way it's been handling. Don't mess it up. So they will have this time to do this under caution. You see that adjustment getting done. Now the 33 of Cale Gale also will be down here on pit road to get his tires. They were very, very close on their fuel. Blaney will be back in action here, ready to go. Gale is in now in this Ream Chevrolet. I'm sure they'll do 4 tires also. They got gas going in. No problem here to get this stop done. The 3 truck rolls by. There goes the 97 of Choquette. So Cale Gale will be back in the race right now with 4 fresh Goodyears.
And there's going to be 3 trucks on the lead lap until we have the wave arounds. What's going to happen is Blaney, Cale Gale, and Jeff Choquette are going to be your top 3 on the lead lap and the Aaron's lucky dog.
The Ty Dillon truck is now on the lead lap too. He can make his pit stop normal. All these other guys will have to take some chances. Herbie?
And Ty Dillon was calling for a debris caution, telling his crew chief where the debris was on the racetrack. He's bringing his car down. It'll be 4 tires Sunoco fuel, and they're adding a ½ pound of air to the right front. Good break for the 3 team.
Yeah, free pit stop for these guys, being the Aaron's lucky dog.
4 trucks on the lead lap. We're going to have wave arounds. Of course, you're going to see Parker Kligerman, one of those trucks that will do the wave around. Some that are going to gamble, it looks like, are going to be Jay White, who needed to come onto pit road. He was a guy who stopped last on lap 104, so he may be gambling to see if he can win the American Ethanol 200. Welcome back once again to Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa, as we're getting ready for what could be a very interesting restart. Ryan Blaney, who was the race leader and needing to come to pit road before the checkered flag flew, got the opportunity when the caution flag came out. There were 3 trucks on the lead lap. Ty Dillon gets the Aaron's lucky dog. That put 4 of them on the lead lap, and now we're going to have wave arounds that are going to be thrown into the mix.
A lot of wave arounds. You see Ryan Blaney right there. And how this race will restart is the 3 trucks, Ryan Blaney, Jeff Choquette, Cale Gale will line up front. You see there's Jeff Jaquette, the 97 right there. And then we're going to have the trucks that are a lap down that pitted. And then the lucky dog, Ty Dillon. And then the waiver outs. And Hermie, what's going on with that 97?
Well, we got to give a call to Jeff Jaquette and his race team. He got the benefit of that caution, but this is no fluke. This guy can drive. He finished 11th here a couple months ago, and he's been wheeling this truck. Right now, he's second with 30 laps to go.
Look at Ryan Blaney, takes the outside lane on this restart. We watched him make moves on the high side, so he's comfortable up there and decides to restart up on the high side. We're not going to go green this time, I got a lot of things to figure out with this lineup.
Yeah, probably got exactly. Trying to figure out this lineup.
There was a lot of wave arounds. A lot of trucks decided to take advantage of the wave around. 23, the 7, the 13, the 30, the 31, the 11, and the 18. 13 in total took the wave around.
And these guys are all faced with a pit stop in the not too near future, Phil. So this thing goes green. All those trucks, some of those trucks will have to come to pit road. Not all of them, but some of them will.
Well, tomorrow, immediately following the Cup Series race from Chicago, turn to speed for comprehensive post-race coverage on NASCAR Victory Lane. JR, Kyle Petty, Kenny Wallace, and Larry Mack, they're going to celebrate with the winner and break down the biggest moments from the first race of the chase. NASCAR Victory Lane immediately following the race right here on Speed. Ray.
I am standing bound in the pits with Dave Blaney, who is the father of the driver who is our leader right now. Dave, you've won some big races in your career, but how nervous are you with the kid out front?
I'm not real nervous. He's been doing a great job no matter what happens, and he's got a real shot at it, so hopefully he gets it.
How about that? 18-year-old Ryan Blaney at the front, and confidence from Dad back here in the back of the pits.
How about Brad Keselowski, who hasn't been able to win in his trucks, and now he's got a young 18-year-old who's up front, potentially could win in his truck.
What a great story, right? Brad Keselowski, chase contending championship racing cup driver, can't win in his own truck, puts an 18-year-old kid in it. It looks like he might be able to get it done.
And Mikey, how many of these drivers are going to have to stop for sure before the end of the race?
You know, I said a lot, and then I said a few. I'm going to go with one. Jason White is the only cat that doesn't have enough gas to get to the finish. Some of the other trucks that are in position to get the Aaron's Lucky Dog, should the caution wave and get back into this thing, include Matt Crafton,
Ross
Chastain, David Mayhew. We saw these guys struggling earlier in the race, and Crafton even into the outside wall. You can see him right there. He's in a position to get the Aaron's Lucky Dog and make something out of this night.
You know, Jason White pitted on lap number 104. We've had a few caution laps here. Maybe we catch another caution. He might possibly be able to stretch this thing a little bit.
27 laps will remain when the green flag flies. This time by, they're going to see the green flag. Up in front, it's Ryan Blaney and Jeff Jaquette. Blaney has decided that he thinks the outside line is the preferred line on the restart, so he chooses the high line on the low line. Jeff Jaquette, green flag back in the air. We're back underway in Iowa.
There goes Cale Gale to make it 3 wide down into turn 1.
3 and 4 wide as they go through 1. How about the 7 of Parker Kligerman? He rockets around the outside, picking up position after position.
He is on the move. There's no question right now. Parker Kligerman knows they need to make up for that bad pit strategy that they had.
And so Parker Kligerman charging to the front early in this one, but can he catch Ryan Blaney? Blaney already with 0.4 of a second over Cale Gale as they work their way through 1 and 2 again.
And what about that truck of Cale Gale? We talked earlier about how this could be a breakthrough night for him, running second late in the going. Certainly that. And what about the team of Thor Sports and Matt Crafton into the outside wall, now racing up toward the front?
How about Ty Dillon right now up in the 3rd spot? Remember, he was Aaron's Lucky Dog just this most recent caution. Right now he's 3rd, only a second behind.
Jeff Jaquette has dropped back to the 4th spot. Parker Kligerman has made his way up to 5th.
It looked like Parker Kligerman was going to shoot through this field, but once he got in behind David Mayhew up to the 5th spot on the track, he's just not been able to make any more progress. They're side by side ahead of him. You see Ross Chastain, another strong run for this young man. He's trying to work his way around Jeff Jaquette.
11 trucks on the lead lap. Take a look at the restart on the right side of your screen.
Talked about that 7 of Parker Kligerman. Look at him go by the 84 Wayne Edwards. Passed about 8 trucks in that one corner.
and kept it moving all the way by Jason White and Joey Coulter as he went down the backstretch.
I like that move.
He continues to be on the move as we come back with just 23 laps of racing to go.
He's going to take over the 4th spot from Jeff Jacquet. There's David Mayhew, the 19. He's racing for the Aaron's Lucky Dog right now.
And things are tightening up at the front too, boys. Ryan Blaney's not able to get away from Cale Gill or Ty Dillon. Those trucks are both all over him. There's action all over this racetrack as usual. Look how close it is up front.
Blaney has a 0.3 of a second lead over Cale Gill, and it's Ty Dillon back behind him 0.7 of a second. Parker Kligerman has moved up into that 4th spot. He's 3 seconds back though.
That last lap, the top 3 trucks, less than 1/10 of a second among all 3 of them.
Got a blown engine on the front straightaway.
We'll see if that brings the caution out and tightens this field up once again. He's working his way on the apron. Actually, that's Jennifer Jo Cobb. She's working her way around the apron.
Oh, spin on the front straightaway. It's Kligerman.
And Kligerman slides on the front straightaway. Problems with that truck. That's going to bring the caution out.
And
right front tire is down on that truck.
So's the right rear.
Yeah, he's got some issues trying to even get back to pit road.
Was running in the 4th spot. 21 laps to go, and both right side tires are flat.
Man, this is what an 18-year-old kid doesn't want to see. A bunch of cautions late in the going. He performed a flawless restart a minute ago, but as he raced away in a truck that he described as on a rail, which is a great feeling, by the way, that's perfect. He looks in his mirror. Cale Gill, Ty Dillon, both able to keep pace with that truck. So nervous times for Ryan Blaney.
See him get loose there. That may have been in the oil from Jennifer Jo Cobb's truck.
That's certainly a possibility, Phil. Good call, because she blew up just off turn 4. She was able to get to the bottom quickly, but when she came off 4, she was up high.
Going to be a big break for Jason White. And there's our Lucky Dog. A great move by that 88 truck. Those guys stayed with it after that contact early.
Crafton running in the 12th spot, 1 lap down. He'll get that lap back, be able to come onto pit road. You wouldn't expect to see Ryan Blaney, Cale Gill, Ty Dillon, Todd Bodine, Jeff Jacquet. We're not going to see any of those on pit road.
No, Jason White's going to be the only truck probably to come to pit road, obviously, other than the 7, right. Parker Kligerman.
And the 17 of Timothy Peters, he comes to pit road as well.
It'd be difficult for him to get the jack underneath that truck on the right side. Right.
And guys, keep in mind, this is not just about trying to have a shot at winning this race. This is about a points race. He came into this event 4th in points, just 21 out. So they're going to put right side tires on and make sure that there's no problem and get Kligerman back in. Hermie?
23 of Jason White hits pit road. A little bit of an interesting conversation between Troy Couples, the engine tuner, and the crew chief on this truck. The engine tuner, Troy, had it at 194. They could go. The crew chief said 199, so they had a little bit of a disagreement on how far they could go, but nevertheless, they get a caution to get to come to pit road for 4 tires and fuel.
There's
not
a
what your points leader wanted to see.
Yeah. They're putting some water in that truck, Phil. You can see the hoses run to the cooling system.
You can see the steam coming out of the overflow right there at the base of the windshield.
Right there are the lines running to the cooling system, trying to get some fresh water in that engine.
They're also changing the battery on the 17, Rick. Been fighting an issue, losing power on the racetrack, and they finally decided to take advantage of this opportunity. They were not certain that this truck would run the rest of the night, so the problems continue for Timothy Peters. They're trying to make it to the finish, but a new battery in the 17.
Laps winding down, just 18 to go. The field remains under caution. It's the 7th time the caution flag has flown. 43 laps under caution here at Iowa. 6 different leaders, 9 lead changes already. I almost bought a car. I needed a bidder number, and I didn't have one of those.
Darn
but
it.
I really wanted one.
I got a couple I'd like to sell. How do you do that?
I think you talk to Speed.
Take
They'll
them out
help
there.
you. Yeah. I wanted one of those Austin Healey's.
Ooh,
beautiful car.
They didn't have any checker marathons out there.
No, they didn't. But I do know that you would love to have a cab.
Yes,
yes,
I would. He would. And
Is there a dream car you want, Michael?
81 Z28, and that's
you have it.
I know.
And I thought you were going to let me drive it for a while.
You want an Austin Healey?
I do. You have one of those?
No.
No. All right. Thanks.
Ryan Blaney wants 15 laps to go by pretty quick.
And you know who wants to have a chance to make this his career breakout night? Cale Gill. right behind him. He's as fast as Blaney, so this is shaping up to be a typical Saturday night brawl in the Truck Series. Not going to know who the guy that's going to take that checker flag is until they come off turn 4 the last time, if it's like it usually is here at Iowa.
Yeah. And Phil, you mentioned this fact earlier. Ryan Blaney could be the youngest winner ever in the history of the Camping World Truck Series by a long ways.
You know, as Dave said, no matter what happens, Ryan Blaney has done an outstanding job. And it's just his 3rd Truck Series race ever.
Yeah, and just 14 laps to go. Now, as an 18-year-old in the Camping World Truck Series, nerves have got to be playing a role here.
You know, but when we interview him, he's pretty cool. He doesn't seem to be shaken by all that's going on around him. He doesn't seem to think it's that big of a deal. I mean, he loves the fact that he's driving Brad's truck, but he doesn't seem to be intimidated by it. He's very matter-of-factual. We talked to him at the interview. Look at Mom Lisa. You think she's all right?
Now, she might be a little bit nervous.
No, she's got the feet up.
But the kid's cool. I love the way he acts and talks. And as he talked about starting this race, do I go high or go low? Kligerman said, I'm going low. And he said, okay, I guess I'll go high then.
Yeah. And it looks as though he's going to choose the high line for the restart now. When they come back to the stripe, it'll be 13 laps of racing to go.
And just remember, that guy on the inside of him, Cale Gale, wants it just as bad. He's just as excited and just as determined to win this race as Blaney is.
Remember all the waiver-ons we had the last caution? They're all right there bunched up.
Everyone bunched together coming out of turn number 4. Green flag back in the air. Cale Gale on the inside. Ryan Blaney on the outside. The race into turn number 1.
Cale Gale has a little bit of an edge, gets loose though.
And up the racetrack goes the 29 of Ryan Blaney. He has the lead as they go down the backstretch.
Here comes Ty Dillon. He gets by the 33. How is Todd Bodine running second in this race?
Todd Bodine has made his way up to second. Now he's going to have to battle with Ty Dillon and the 13 of Johnny Sauter for that spot.
Restart late number 1. Check for Ryan Blaney. Perfect job. He's able to get away from Ty Dillon and those boys. Wow, Ty about spun out off turn 2.
And into the wall. We've got the 65. That looks like Justin Jennings has hit the wall in turn 2.
Caution flag out yet again. Ryan Blaney's going to have to do it again.
That's why I said restart number 1 late in the going. Check for Ryan Blaney. You got to figure there's going to be a couple more of them. Like you said, Phil, all those waiver rounds packed together. These trucks are so competitive here at Iowa. You can make 3 and 4 wide runs down into the corners. That's a recipe for cautions. We just had one.
Again, up into the outside wall. 65 of Justin Jennings driving that Mittler Brothers truck. So that brings the caution out for the 8th time. And what it also does is escalate the tension here at Iowa Speedway. 10 laps to go. Under 10 laps to go in the American Ethanol 200 from Iowa Speedway. And we have Ryan Blaney out in front of the field, but he's got a couple of veterans that are going to be around him. Todd Bodine and Johnny Sauter on this restart.
We've seen that second row inside make a lot of moves on restarts here all year long, back in July as well as tonight here. Watch for Johnny Sauter on the start, Michael.
And also, Ryan Blaney loves the high side, so I love that. He doesn't really care what happens to the left of him. If they go 3 wide, he feels like he can motor around the top. So he learned that line early in the race, and he's taken advantage of it.
Green flag back in the air. Another great restart for the 29. Here comes the 11 on the inside. Todd Bodine trying to make the move, as well as the 13 of Johnny Sauter. 3 wide for second behind the 29.
How about Ty Dillon all the way to the top? He runs out of room.
Into 3 and 4. This time by, it'll be 7 laps of racing.
Oh, we got
to
a spin behind.
Going up the racetrack. Also, Buescher goes around.
Another point contender.
Out once again.
And another restart that this young man has to negotiate.
He did a great job that time.
You know what he did there that was great? He got that gap on second place. And when they went 3 wide behind him, it was just that behind him. It wasn't a factor in his race.
Take another look at what happened.
Ooh, right in the middle of 2 trucks, in the middle of Ross Chastain, the 08, Jeff Jaquette, and the 97. It's amazing how all the point contenders have had trouble, it seems like, tonight, maybe with the exception of Ty Dillon.
Riding along with him.
You can see he just gets loose on the inside of Jaquette, hits Jaquette, and around he goes. You talk about Ty Dillon not having any problems. But early in this race, Phil, he was out to lunch. He's running back outside the top 10, 12th or 13th. It looked like he didn't have anything for him tonight, but he's rebounded nicely.
Certainly has.
He's Mr. Rebound, you know.
That's right.
Well, James Busher very fortunate that nobody came along and made contact with him while he was sitting in the middle of the racetrack.
Oh, how much pressure. If he wins this race, if Ryan Blaney wins this race, he's done everything that you would want a kid to do to win one.
Oh, or how about a veteran?
Anybody, you're
Anybody.
right. Just remember here just a couple of months ago, lead change after lead change, 3 wide, swapping it up at the front before Timothy Peters was able to prevail. Check out Ross Chastain, another solid run for this young man. He's going to get back on the lead lap, running in the 12th spot. He gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog.
That'll put 12 trucks on the lead lap right now.
Aaron's and Watermelon. That's a good combination.
Good combination.
Lucky Dog and a young man that's getting to get back on the lead lap.
Under 5 laps of racing to go when the green flag flies. We're going to take a quick break and be back for that green flag. 3 laps of racing to go. Green flag back in the air. Everyone on their feet here in Iowa.
Todd Bodine blocks to the bottom, doesn't let Johnny Sauter take him 3 wide. I like that move by Todd Bodine. Johnny had the option to crash him, didn't decide to do it, but he was able to drive off turn 2 with that 2nd spot.
And Ryan Blaney able to stay out in front on this restart. He has about a 0.2 of a second lead over Todd Bodine.
And none of these trucks right behind him, other than maybe Johnny Sauter, has had the speed to run with him tonight. Ryan Blaney, if he can get back to the start-finish line, he's got a shot at winning this thing.
Look at Ty Dillon. He's going to get on the outside of Todd Bodine. Todd squeezes, but he doesn't have enough room.
Here comes Ty Dillon. The battle for second is on as they go through 3 and 4. Dillon with the momentum on the high side. He'll take second away. This time by. White flag in the air. One more time around Iowa Speedway.
We know we're going to finish this thing. The next flag's going to do it. Ty Dillon doing all he can there up high.
Dillon working down the backstretch. Does he have enough time? Can he get the momentum as they go through 3 and 4?
That's what that high side does, Rick. It builds momentum. He's going to make a run at him.
Coming through turn 4 into the front stretch. The 29 of Ryan Blaney will win the race at Iowa. You just saw the youngest winner in Camping World Truck Series history make it back to the checkered flag.
And that was one proud papa standing there in the pits, too.
That is just amazing. What an outstanding job. And how about that young driver of that 3 who rebounds nicely for a second place finish, pulling up to congratulate Ryan Blaney.
And then the veteran Todd Bodine, who raced hard all the way to the checker, gets 3rd spot. What a great finish for Cale Gale. Top 5 again, and he was solid all night long.
Just his 3rd start in the Camping World Truck Series. And the 29, driven by Ryan Blaney, is going to go to victory lane.
Right.
I'm with his crew chief, Doug Randolph, and not only is it very impressive that this is a young man that got a victory, but the first win for Brad Keselowski Racing. How's that feel?
Feels great. Ryan did an excellent job all night, man. It was just a pleasure to watch him drive tonight. He was on it. Cooper Standard Dodge was solid all night. Guys on pit road did a great job. Oh, I feel great for Ryan and his family. My first crew chiefing gig was with his dad, so I feel really close to the family, and it's exciting to see this.
The circle has been brought together. Doug Randolph gets a win, and Ryan Blaney, the youngest winner in Camping World Truck Series history.
How cool is it for Brad Keselowski to be sitting back in Chicago, getting ready to start this chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship, and his truck's in victory lane tonight with that young man, Ryan Blaney, driving it. Congratulations, Brad. Well-deserved. Cooper Standard to victory lane. What a great job for your team.
And how about Ty Dillon making the charge late in this one? He's standing by with Herbie.
And what a charge that was. You guys, 5th, 6th, 7th, pretty much all night. And those last couple of restarts, like you were shot out of a cannon, and you made it very interesting at the end.
Yeah, I got to thank Bass Pro Shops, UNOH, Tackle Warrior Iowa, everybody who helps out first of all. And man, halfway through the race there, I was a little worried, but Marcus Richmond had an awesome strategy. The guys worked hard. Pit stops were great. Our truck was a little off, but we really got him on strategy there, and I wanted it bad there at the end. We were coming, but Ryan Blaney, man, he's an amazing driver. I'm glad we didn't have to race against him all year this year. He's a great guy, and he really deserves this, and really proud of him.
That's Ty Dillon. He's our unofficial point leader by 8 points. Rick?
Sure enough, Ty Dillon goes to the top of the points chart now with just 7 races to go. So he is in the driver's seat as far as the 2012 championship. But the guy with the biggest smile on his face tonight, Ryan Blaney. To win was Dennis Setzer back in 2008 at Martinsville. So it's been a while. Another Ram back in victory lane. Let's go there with Ray Dunlap.
Well, here he comes. Ryan Blaney in his third career start in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Gets the first big win for Brad Keselowski Racing. Mom Lisa and Dad Dave down here in victory lane. And you ever believe this could be possible? A win in your third start, and you're now the youngest winner in the history of the series, pal.
This is pretty incredible, you know. Just got to thank Cooper Standard, Reese Toe Power, Draw Tight, Brad Keselowski for giving me this opportunity, Wayne, Doug made some great calls there at the end. It's pretty much, it's pretty unbelievable. So hopefully we can get a few more here.
Well, look out, here we go. That'll cool it off a bit. Let's get a word over here with Dad. Come on in here, Dave. How about this? How about a celebration? Mom's here too. What's it mean to see the kid having such great success at a young age?
It's unbelievable. He does such a good job, and you know, thanks to everybody that's helped him all along the way, from CO Rap, Tommy Baldwin, Al, you know, especially Brad Keselowski, Penske, everybody. And man, he does so good, and he catches on so quick. It's fun to watch.
I have a feeling we're going to see this scene again. Let's go to Hermie now and check in on the other end of pit road.
Well, Ray, we had two kids up there battling, and this old fella right here, the veteran, almost came up there and spoiled the party. For what you guys went through this weekend to get this truck right, solid finish for you guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got to say first, happy birthday to Wild Bill Foster, Lindy's dad. Happy birthday, bud. But how about Ryan Blaney? I mean, is that kid a chip off the old block? I think he's better than his dad. That's awesome. I'm happy for him. Happy for Brad and all them guys. I know how hard they've worked. We know how hard they work to get to this point. You know, it's a hard deal. But we got a great team. I mean, Red Horse Racing's awesome. We had 3 good trucks. The other 2 got in trouble, and we just plugged along. We weren't really good in the beginning, and Rick made some great adjustments, and we ended up good. Toyota Care on here again supporting us. I can't believe they're sticking with us, but we appreciate it, Toyota Care and Toyota. It's a good night, man. Hopefully we finally got this monkey off our back.
That's Todd Bodine. He finishes third.
Had a smile on his face. That's a good thing. As we take a look at our Just for Men Auto Stop fastest pit stop, and it came down to pit road. And when guys came, when they didn't come, and it ended up the 29.
You know what
fast stop.
You know what I love most was whether it was on the racetrack, making moves in traffic, restarts, or coming to pit road, the young man didn't make a mistake all night long. And you can't make mistakes and get a win in NASCAR. He proved it tonight.
And Doug Randolph's strategy was right, spot on as well.
Just for Men Auto Stop fastest pit stop goes to Ryan Blaney and that entire 29 team. And they end up in victory lane tonight. Take a look at our Ram Guts and Glory for this race at Iowa Speedway. How about the restarts by the 29 of Ryan Blaney?
Boy, he was just about solid perfect on every restart. Watch him now with that momentum. He knew the top side was where he wanted to be. He knew that's where his truck was really, really fast.
And he found that early in the going, and it wasn't because he wanted to. He just was going somewhere to make his truck work better. He drove to the top, it stuck, and look, right to the bottom he goes when he gets to the other end. Great job.
See Todd Bodine congratulating the young winner
and
in victory lane.
It's so cool on Twitter. Everybody that races against Ryan Blaney in the late models, the K&N series, are thanking him. And this is his truck owner, Brad Keselowski. So happy for Ryan Blaney and his family for winning in Iowa. But what a great performance by that team, too. Doug Randolph, Brad Keselowski gave them all the tools they need to win with, and they took advantage of it.
Johnny Sauter finishes in the top 5 once again at Iowa. Let's hear from him with Hermie.
Yeah, 5 races and 5 top 5s at this racetrack, but I know you guys want to get to victory lane. It came down to restarts again. Tell us about the end for you.
Yeah, I mean, just a crazy night pit strategy-wise. Proud of Joe and everybody at ThorSport on our Hot Honeys Curb Records Toyota. We had a great truck, and one time there we were 18th. We got back up to the lead there, and then through the way the cycles were, and then next thing I know, we're 18th again, and just ran out of time. But super proud of everybody at ThorSport. Just you know, you mentioned 5 top 5s or whatever it is, but no wins. So a little disappointed about that, quite frankly. But if anybody's got some free time tomorrow, there's a movie called Last Ounce of Courage. I recommend that everybody go see that. It's a great movie.
That's Johnny Sauter with some movie advice for us for tomorrow. Rick?
There you go. Let's take a look at our
Ebert stuff.
Our unofficial point standings. After 15 races, only 7 to go in this series and this season, Ty Dillon has an 8-point lead over Timothy Peters. How about that change of events?
And James Busher, he's right there too. What a battle for this championship.
What a great win for the youngest winner ever in the Camping World Truck Series, Ryan Blaney in Victory Lane at Iowa.